So today we're going to talk about mids. So as you guys know, a mid is a woman that is more attractive than the average woman, often in the middle or slightly below. But mids do not get the same results of beautiful women. On a scale of 1 to 10, a mid would be around a 4 to 6, maybe a low 7. Mids usually come from small towns or suburbs and move to major cities for better opportunities in their careers and dating. It's in the big cities where they are humbled by the beautiful women that are 8s, 9s, and 10s. Mids find out fairly quickly that they cannot get what the beautiful women get unless they put in way more work. Now, the biggest problem with mids is that they don't know their place in the order of things when it comes to intersexual dynamics between men and women. Mids can win, and I have seen them win. Adjustable 6s, they win all the time. But they got to be humble and aware and know their place. Now, many high-value men would marry a mid if the woman has a good attitude, is supportive, and wants to be on his team. Although most will blow their chance at high-value men, some mids will win. And that's what we're going to talk about today on today's show. Mids that actually won. Now, 2 mids we're going to talk about are Lauren Sanchez and Meghan Markle. Now, Lauren Sanchez is the fiance of Jeff Bezos. Now, in the looks department, Lauren is a mid through and through. I mean, yeah, she was on TV. She's been in the media for years, but that doesn't make someone not a mid. She's even done mandatory. I mean, this is mandatory as a mid. If you want to succeed when you're older, plastic surgery in her older years to keep up with the beautiful women. So we're going to look at the her plastic surgery through the years to keep up with her looks. This was her when she was young to now. Now, as you can see, she's still a good-looking woman. Like here, she was maybe a 7 in her youth. Right, in her youth, she was a 7. And she slowly drops down to a 6. Now, she's a kind of a weird-looking 6, right? She's got too much lip filler. The eyebrows are eyebrowing. But you can't say she's not a wood for most men. So, you know, Lauren Sanchez, fiance of Jeff Bezos, has a robust history of memorable fashion moments, from her asymmetrical Tom Ford gown as the Lord of the Rings of Power premiere in 2022, to her bold Levour couture gown at the Vanity Fair Oscar party in 2024. The former journalist has spotted a number of high fashion looks, well played with sensational silhouettes and bold colorways to make a statement. So look, now, remember, as mids get older, they have to be sluttier. Now remember, the reason that 8+ have lower body counts than mids is because they don't have to make sex easier. The 8+ have to make sex easier for them to get, right? So, like, that's how they compete. The mids get more naked, whatever. So you'll notice in her youth, she was more covered up, where now, you know, she's wearing lingerie this is a classy mid outfit. Now, that's why a lot of times modesty is not out of virtue, but necessity. So here she has a history of being thin, which is good. Men are going to look at that. And as you see, the older she gets, the more slutty she's going to dress. The more plastic surgery. She's competing, right? So there you go. See, as you get older, the dresses get tighter. Then she got the girls done. She's got to do what she's got to do. Now she's wearing straight lingerie in public. Yeah, so this idea that sluttiness doesn't work, it signals to the men this is easier. Easy. And men do like this idea that men don't like easy. They don't want you to be easy for everybody, but you know, if a guy goes on a date with a 6 and knows he's going to get laid, or he has to go on a date with an 8 with a 10% chance of getting laid, who do you think he's going to pick? Can we just be real? Especially men like Bezos. Like, his time is literally money. So then we're going to watch an interview with Sanchez to kind of get her aura, her personality. Now, again, mids have to be pleasant. They got to be agreeable. They got to be nice because they're competing with hotter, younger women.
8:13 with Emmy-winning journalist helicopter pilot, and philanthropist Lauren Sanchez.
She's the vice chair of the Bezos Earth Fund. She's worked alongside her fiance, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, to fight climate change.
So there you go. Now she's a mid. She had to be useful. So she had to find a way to make herself useful to him. So now she's getting him in the press for some pro-woman bullshit. He doesn't care. And she's also flying helicopters. She's keeping herself busy, whatever.
And she's here this morning with an exclusive announcement about their latest effort to address the problem of homelessness here in the U.S. Lauren, it's so nice.
She's doing charity work. That's important to the rich guys. They need philanthropy. I can say it.
To have you here.
So there you go. She's smiling. She's happy.
So incredible to be here. I mean, what a great space. I was just telling you, I'm a little nervous. I'm not used to being on this side, but I'm very happy.
We don't believe it. I mean, you were a long-time television anchor.
Yes.
You're a pro.
But
She's got a skirt on. She's dressed nice.
love it. It's so exciting.
It's fun to have you here, and you bring good news. You bring really important news.
I'm so excited to announce this. Jeff and I.
She's going for the soft voice, Jeff and I. It's a soft voice, the guys like that.
Just awarded $110 million to 40 grantees that are helping combat homelessness. And, you think of the word homelessness, and you're like, what is that? It's for temporary homelessness, and these are for families that are experiencing temporary homelessness. There was this gentleman named Ron, right? He's providing for his family. His wife got cancer, and she unfortunately passed away. And he lost his job, he lost his house. He was sleeping in a car with his 4-year-old daughter. And Genesis, they knocked on his, it's different, excuse me, not Genesis. They knocked on his window and they're like, do you need help? And they provided him with shelter that night. And then he was able to get back on his feet, all of these things. And now has a home that he's living in. And that's what it is. It's bringing dignity back to these folks.
So you guys, with these funds, you're going to existing organizations that you vetted and you like.
Extremely vetted. And but the great thing about it is it's no strings attached.
Yeah.
So they get the money and they get to use it immediately. I went to a shelter recently in LA as well. And let me tell you, they're so excited because what they get to do is they get to provide more rooms for these families. And I looked at these rooms that they provide and they're beautiful. The walls are painted. They have toys for the kids. They have incredible.
She's social media trained. And really, if you look at her media career, it's really not her in a bunch of controversy. It's her interviewing men. So that's another thing she did to win, was she put herself, if she puts herself in enough rooms with high value men, she's bound to get a taker. And we're going to go through the takers that she's had. Now, you guys might say, Pearl, but she's divorced, single mom. She didn't win. Guys, objectively, she's dating she's engaged to the richest man on the planet. If that's not effing winning, I didn't say it was moral. I didn't say it was good, but this bitch got what she wanted. Can we just...
sheets, and then they have attorneys that are there. And I always say, when someone is experiencing something like this, and like a domestic abuse case, they're not calling at 12 in the afternoon. It's like 2 in the morning, and these people are working tirelessly to help them. And I have never been more proud of something as walking into a shelter and seeing not just the people that they're helping, but the people that are helping these people. Do you know what I mean? They're so prideful and they take so much pride in what they're doing.
I think what you're doing is incredible. I'm so impressed by you. I was watching you on your book tour. You have a children's book out. I didn't know this part of your life, but I was so fascinated by it. You said all your life.
Also, I want to say thank you to Big Hawks for signing up. Johnny, thank you for signing up. Ryan, thank you for signing up. Appreciate you guys.
You thought you were dumb until one teacher at a community college said to you, no, sweetie, you're not dumb. You don't know how to spell. You can't. So you were dyslexic all this time, and you carried that with you. I see this tender part of you, and I'm...
Yeah, they said guac 3000. Yup. God, I am so tired. I am so tired of conservatives let's not pretend. Doug MPA, we were talking before the show, and they were like, oh, they can get sex from anyone. You're telling me that a girl that gives good head 4 days a week, 5 days a week, is not a benefit to a guy. A girl that's ready to go with the best BJ ever that the guy's ever had. Now, I'm not saying that's the only thing that she's got to bring. That's not going to, but I have seen men do crazy things for that. I've seen too much. Now, you could say, but Pearl, that's not going to, sex is important to men. Like, can we stop like pretending this is not an important thing to the men? Being hot, important. Doing that stuff, important. And the women that downplay this stuff, they're not fucking their husbands. I promise to God. I promise to God, the women that say this shouldn't be important, their man has not gotten laid in 6 months, and I would bet money. The gluck adds to attractiveness points. Look, because that shows the woman understands that side of the man. Half of women shame the men, right? This is how you know how strippers get married? Do you know what they do? Porn stars, how they get married? How did Riley Reid get married? She brought her hot friends into the bedroom. Now you might say, I would never marry a porn star. I would never do it. I am above it. Well, so you start hooking up with this porn star for fun. Then you see she's actually pretty nice to you. She's likable. She's nice. And then she starts bringing her hotter friends home for you to have sex with for fun. Every week, a new girl. Let's say every Sunday she's bringing home a hot friend that does something freaky in bed you've always wanted to do. That's how these hoes get married. God, that's what they do. We're talking about the strategy here.
And that's where that started.
It was really like a tough time in my life growing up. I just, as a little girl, and they just put you in the back of the room and they just kind of push you along. And I did. I just thought I was dumb. And this one teacher, community college, and she looked at me and she said that, and she changed my life. And it's kind of like these programs. You just need one person, just one person that looks at you and be like, you're going to be okay. You're going to make a difference, and I'm going to help you. And she did. She really changed my life, and I became a journalist, because of her. I never thought, this girl who could barely read. Like, I was the girl in class that when they called on me to read, I'd start sweating. I'd freak out, and then I'd try to read it before, and hopefully I didn't have to read out loud. And then I started reading out loud for a living. I mean, it literally changed my life, and that's the whole point of the book. It's about this little fly who's bad at school.
Now, I would say she's like a 5, 6 now, but she's still in the wood category.
And kind of wanders and gets stuck in a space capsule, and then sees this.
Okay, so now we get an idea of like her personality, right? So she's smiling, she's got long hair, she's dressed feminine, she's likable. Okay, so they said it sounds fun for a while, but I'd kick them out. Oh, really? Do you know what? You guys are softer than you think. This is how women get in. You say, I don't want a relationship. I don't want to get married. And what do the women do? They wear you down. You might say, I would never wife a porn star. Well, you might just start off sleeping with a porn star. And then she starts bringing her friends. Like, imagine this, guys. Are you above falling in love with a woman? Every day you get home, she has dinner ready, has a massage, a blowjob, and a friend. You guys are cooked. I'm sorry. If a girl did that, even if she had a sex tape on the internet, you guys are cooked. You're cooked. Cooked. Okay, so now she was in her 20s, and she had her first kid with a former NFL player, Tony Gonzalez. And after that, she was married to businessman Patrick Whitesell and had 2 kids by him. Patrick Whitesell is worth $480 million. Then she divorced him, and now she's with Jeff Bezos. So she went from an NFL player to a millionaire to a billionaire. This is the greatest mid-win in the history of civilization. I'm not saying that she should win. I'm not saying that this is good. But can we just be objective here? Can we just be objective? She went and did better every single time. Now, let's talk about what we can learn from Lauren Sanchez. How did she win when she was so mid? So number one, she went into media in her 20s. And not did she just go into media, she went out and interviewed high-value men and had access to them. On top of that, she never said anything bad about her exes. If you as a woman speak bad about an ex, there will be no next, especially if you're over a certain age. Look, what I'm not saying is that you can make any mistake and come back for it. But men are going to calculate the age that you did a stupid thing. So if you did a stupid thing at 16 or 18, men are going to calculate the youth meter. Okay, she was young and dumb. But if you're talking about your toxic, abusive ex-boyfriend or husband at 32, I mean, they're just going to think something's wrong with you. Now, I added a video to this that shows her exes here.
All of Lauren Sanchez's men before Jeff Bezos. Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos got engaged in 2023, but he isn't the first influential man Sanchez has dated. Here are some notable figures she's been involved with. 1. Rory Marcus. Sanchez's first known relationship was with Rory Marcus. At the time, she was an intern at KCOP-TV in Los Angeles. For 2 years, she worked as a desk assistant there. Marcus was a sports journalist.
So she can be there, show that she's useful, and then there's just enough rich, famous, hot guys that go through. One's bound.
He and Sanchez became engaged, but never married. In 1994, Sanchez secured her first job at Phoenix KTVK. She left Marcus when she got the job. Unfortunately, in 2010, Marcus died of a heart attack. 2. Anthony Miller.
Now, she did early on, she did have a public breakup, but she learned her lesson.
Sanchez then dated the NFL star, Anthony Miller. The pair met in 1996 at the Super Bowl. Sanchez worked as a TV reporter at the time, and Miller played for the Denver Broncos. They were together for 4 years. For about a year and a half, they were engaged. Their relationship ended on a sour note in 2000. Miller said Sanchez was cheating on him. However, she claimed it was Miller who had an affair. His mistress allegedly called her and told her. Miller continued to publicly criticize Sanchez. He claimed she forced him into proposing to her. He noted that he never got the ring back. 3.
Okay. So he was the one more making it public than her, though. So he looks, whoever's making it public, you look bad.
Tony Gonzalez. Sanchez dated another NFL player, Tony Gonzalez. Their relationship was mostly kept private. In 2001, they welcomed their son, Nico.
Fazell says, Pearl, absolutely. Nothing quite sets the tone for a pure and holy day like a blowjob in the morning. That's all a man could want and could ask God for a truly divine way to start the day. You know, at the end of the day, it's like men kind of ask themselves, can this woman do the job? And that's what the job starts with. Like that. Otherwise, you're just friends if you can't do that bare minimum. Okay. So anyway, she has a kid with this guy.
Gonzalez. The couple separated shortly after. The reasons for their breakup remain unknown.
So now she does a track record. She can have a kid with a guy and prove that she can remain private. So the last guy, he made it public. It wasn't really her. She now is showing, hey, I can keep this stuff quiet. And that makes her better to date other men.
But Sanchez and Gonzalez have remained on great terms. They were photographed having lunch in 2021. They were with Jeff Bezos and Gonzalez's wife, October. Sanchez considers Gonzalez one of her best friends. She has also built a tight-knit relationship with October. 4. Derek Fisher. After leaving Gonzalez, Sanchez dated Derek Fisher. He was an LA Lakers basketball player at the time. They dated casually for about a year. The details of their relationship remain unclear.
That's a good sign when there's not much.
5. Henry Simmons. Soon after Fisher, Sanchez dated actor Henry Simmons. Their relationship also lasted about a year. During that time, they lived together and became engaged. Sanchez left Simmons when she met Patrick Whitesell. 6. Patrick Whitesell. In 2005, Sanchez married a talent agent, Patrick Whitesell. She went by the name Lauren Sanchez Whitesell. The details about how and when they met are unclear. They were married for 13 years. They welcomed 2 children, a daughter Ella and a son Evan. Whitesell introduced.
Okay, so now, again, another amicable divorce. No drama. And that's why we had a PI on the show, right? And he said, you'll see a woman that dates a lot of high status men. And you ask yourself, why on earth would they date a girl that's been passed around? Well, because once a guy gets to a certain level, stability becomes more important than purity, right? I know you guys think this is crazy, but these guys have a lot to lose. So if they go with a 22-year-old, they don't know how she's going to react or what she's going to do. So a strategy that they can use is a woman that has a track record of not being crazy. If you trash your ex, there won't be a next. There won't. Then you're going to get written out of these circles.
Sanchez to Jeff Bezos. They met at a party in 2016. Bezos hired Sanchez as a helicopter pilot for Blue Origin. She and Bezos started.
Yeah, okay. So, and she was a helicopter pilot. Bold move to get on that plane.
Started dating. They both were still married at the time. Bezos denied any involvement in a cheating scandal. He claimed he had already been estranged from his wife. She allegedly was aware of his relationship.
Yeah, so, he's in a sexless marriage. This woman comes in ready to give the what, guys? The gluck gluck. That's the dating advice that no conservatives will give you. None. They'll just say, oh, it's all about how great she is and how pure. Like, if a guy marries a virgin on his wedding night, like a girl that's a virgin on her wedding night, and she doesn't have sex with him, a whore makes a better wife. An absolute girl that did porn, we could even say. A woman that did porn and actually sleeps with her husband, Lily Phillips, is a better wife, would be a better wife than these women that don't have sex with their husbands. Point in case. Now, we're going to go back to this other video I have. So this is her interviewing the president.
I just want to say first.
Again, she gets in enough of the right rooms, there's bound to be a taker.
So how are you feeling?
Great.
Seriously, after all you just went through, I mean, you just bounced back like that?
And the next day I went out and walked 2 miles in the cold right before the snow in New York.
How does that happen? I mean, how do you go from feeling ill to feeling like you are right now?
Well, I didn't have any anesthesia or any sedatives. I just had this stent put in, and they examined me, found out what was wrong, and I asked if I could watch it on the screen when they were fixing me. So I think that I was able to make a quicker comeback because I didn't go under. I think, anesthesia takes a long time to get over.
How did that change you, though? I mean, this is another surgery-based.
So remember, she's making the men look good. She's a pretty girl. She's flattering them. Like, wow, you can tell she understands male psychology. She knows how to make a man feel important. And the women that can figure that out, they have a superpower in the dating marketplace. They really do.
That you had to go through, and the first time you changed your diet and your exercise. So, I mean, did it kind of say, okay, I need to change a few more things?
No, they didn't really. What they said was that I had been working too hard and sleeping too little and exercising too little, and I needed to do 6 days a week, not 3, on the exercise, and I need to sleep a little more. So
we know that's not going to happen.
No,
so
we do. Actually, I'm exercising more. I'm sleeping a little more every night, and I'm trying to be even more rigorous about the diet.
Which means,
lots of fruits and vegetables and salads and.
Look at the way she's looking at it. Men love to be looked at like a piece of meat. They don't get it often, right? I mean, I'm sure Clinton does, but you guys get the idea.
Not many things that will clog mine.
So no fun, right? No fun.
One more.
Okay, so she's mastered this art. Another thing. She maintained her weight. She has been thin her whole career. She has not fluctuated. Okay. Men, if you're a former fat chick, burn the pictures. Burn them. Because what men will see is they'll see, oh shit, this is what she's going to look like after kids. You got to burn them. She only praises her exes. She also is useful to the men around her. From what I see, she has provided value by representing certain charities, making men look good in interviews, not causing controversies outside of the sluttiness. I will get to that. But you know what? There's a point in a man's life, a man like Bezos, he dated the plain Jane for 20 years, right? Probably sexless marriage, A whore makes men feel alive at times. It's very exciting to them. So, and, he just dated the plain Jane who divorced him and married a teacher. So he thought to himself, you know what? I had this plain Jane. I mean, this plain Jane divorced. She did the same thing the whores did. at least the whores are honest. And there's a point where men get to that point where they're like, I'll take a whore because she's honest. Now, she keeps herself busy, but she doesn't really try to be independent too much. She knows how to keep her mouth shut. There's no tell-all books, no memoirs about her exes. And she's dated high-level men. She could have put out books, but she didn't. Now, on the contrary, we have Meghan Markle. Now, Meghan Markle is another mid who won, but hers is a little different of a case. So she was born in LA. Meghan started acting in the early 2000s. Her best acting role was on the show Suits. Meghan's first marriage was a TV producer named Trevor Eagleson. They were married for 2 years from 2011 to 2013. She moved on to Corey Vitello, a celebrity chef. Meghan was introduced to Prince Harry through a mutual friend in 2016. Meghan went from dating a famous TV producer worth $20 million to marrying into the royal family. So how did Meghan the mid win? Meghan was in show business, and that allowed her to access high-value men. She didn't have kids outside of wedlock, but her girl game isn't as strong. Like, there's some women that I think they marry high-value men, but you can just tell they got lucky. Do you know what I mean? They're just the right room. I'm going to give you an example. Like, I see that as, this isn't meant to be a shot, okay? This isn't meant to be a shot, but I'm just being honest here. I see that in like Candace Owens. I don't see her as overly feminine, right? But she was in the right room at the right time. She found a guy. It was great. I get the same vibe with like Meghan Markle. Like, she's just right room, right time. Meghan Markle's marriage to Prince Harry will always be her most famous romance. Star has also had several public exes she dated before finding love. Though many forget, Meghan Markle was married to ex-husband Trevor Eagleson for 2 years before divorcing in 2013. 3 years before she met Prince Harry, Markle met the producer in 2004 when she was just 22 and married him in 2011 before ending their relationship around the time she got cast into Suits. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex met in 2016 when Markle was starring in Suits. After a whirlwind romance, the couple married in 2018 in a ceremony watched by millions around the world. Their love story has been filled with trials and tribulations as they navigated life in the royal family before giving up their royal roles in 2020 to embark on their life in the U.S. With so many books, documentaries, and tell-all interviews that have given us insight into their relationship, it's hard to remember Markle's love life before Harry. But just like her husband, whose high-profile romances were well documented before his marriage, Markle had her share of romances in front of and out of the public eye. So Luke Segura, Steve Laporte, Sean Zakin, Brett Raylan. Oh, this is the film producer guy. So they split for irreconcilable differences. So that's a good thing. She did well in this, where I don't see any scandals. I'm scanning this. I don't see any scandals until now. So before this, she could have, Meghan went from dating a TV producer worth $20 million to marrying into the royal family. How did Meghan the mid win? Meghan was in show business, and that allowed her access to high-value men. Didn't have kids outside of wedlock. And I would give a strong 7 to in her prime. She's like almost beautiful.